Yo, my name is Sway. Welcome to Gridiron Chronicles. Today we have
legendary coach, Coach King, Ray King.
So let's start off by saying today, why you name yourself the Ghost?
Well, I stay silent. Nobody sees me, but you see my results. So I used to debate in college, debate in high school. So you just start a little picky Andy stuff with people. You throw news out there, and the way I do it is, you got to figure out if it's true or not. I never name names, but I get the info. Don't ask for it, but I get it. So that's why I became the Ghost.
So what are your accolades in life? Like, what have you accomplished in life?
Well, starting off at age 5, I was a swimming champion till I was 13 years old, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, hood of North Philly, Penrose Playground. Started swimming, did not play no other sports, and got put in the children's home in 79, lived in the streets. So I did eat out of trash cans at McDonald's, that's no lie. I did pick blueberries for 16 hours on a farm in New Jersey before I got put away. And got put in the children's home up in upstate Pennsylvania. Stayed there, they paid for my college, they paid for everything, learn how to farm, hatch eggs, all that stuff. So played sports while I was there. I hold a record to this day, 10.14 in 100. I ran a 23 flat in the 200, 49.1 in the 400, half mile 148, mile about 4:30, 2 mile was in every relay. I'm the only person to go 13-0 in track in Berks County. You can look it up, Conroe-Weiser High School. The only one to score the most points in every track meet. And went to college. After college, I went into the military. After the military, I came here to Arizona to settle down in 91. Been here ever since. Played football here for the AZFL back in the day for Militia and Westside Warriors. Been coaching little kids since 95 in basketball, track, volleyball, and football. Still coaching to this day now.
So what year did you coach the AZFL Raiders?
2010, 2009 to 2010. I had the Raiders.
And how well did you guys do?
Well, they only won one game in 6 years before I got there. Preseason, we won every preseason game. And then we went into the season. It was division champs. It was conference champs. We had a win. We had the second winning streak in the league next to the Monsoons. Monsoons was undefeated the whole season, and we had the second longest. And I took a bunch of kids from Louisiana. And the funny part is they were from separate gangs, but they got along real well with us. And we just played football and had fun.
Okay, and so how come you bounce around from team to team? Like, is it like a team player issue, or you just think that that the teams don't like you, or the players don't like you, or what do you think it could be?
To be honest with you, it's coaching. All right, you can put me on special team. I'm going to excel in it, just like it's offense or defense. But the other coaches somehow, if somebody say, oh, King did this or King did that, let's do it Coach King way, other coaches get mad and somehow jealous, I guess. I don't know why. And then next thing you know, they want to let me go. For example, when I was with the Cactus Lead our last year there, I'm assistant OC. I get the playbook. We do well in practice. The other coach get it without saying no name. He's not successful. And the only reason is he called one play, but he doesn't develop the play or let the play develop itself. Me, when I call a play, I already see the next play because I react on how the defense set up. I know if this linebacker move over, I'm coming to that play on the next play. I give my quarterback 3 plays to run instead of 1. And that way, it's like chess, not checkers. And I'm good at it. I can see someone on a drop of a dime. I was a defensive coach for the Reapers, special teams for the Hornets, offensive coordinator for like 4 or 5 other teams. But people are not afraid to say, hey, come help, because I'll go anywhere. You know what I mean? You want me on a special team, I go. I'm not going to argue because I'm there as a team coach. And I'm a player coach because I'm like this. You may not like that guy because he drops the ball, but he's at practice every day. compared to the superstars that comes when they want to go. But what I try to teach is work together, because I'm just the coach. The players are the ones on the field, and you got to work with each other. And that's how you have successful teams. Like, for example, you'll see a team go almost undefeated, but playoff, they change their playbook. Why? Why change something that's not broke?
So what type of style offense do you run?
Well, I develop I call it my ghost offense. What it is when we line up, you'll already know how the play going to develop by the defense. Every team I go against run the same old defense. For example, hook the curl for linebackers. A lot of people don't go curls. I throw outs, wheels, and it throws the linebacker off because he won't move. He won't pick up that running back coming out of the backfield. He'll just sit there and wait. So that's how I design my plays, and that's why they're so successful. All the quarterback got to do is get the ball out in 3 seconds. Throw it to this player, throw it to the next one. Never lock on a player. And that's the problem. You see one player get the ball all the time, the other player sitting there. For example, you'll know as a passing play because every receiver on the field start doing their little thing, moving their hands, shuffling their feet. But watch if it's a run play. That receiver going to stand there and he's going to barely block because he ain't involved. If you make everybody involved and feel like everybody's one, a unit, you're successful. 1 or 2 yards adds up. You know what I mean? And that's how I am.
So, what are your relationships with, some of these league owners, like such as the Cactus and the Alliance League?
Well, Alliance, me and Nigel, cool. I've known Nigel for years. I talked to him over the phone. He's doing a great thing. Like I said, that All-Star game, first one we had since a long time. And it was great. The kids had fun, stuff like that. Matt got mad at me because I told him that the USFL wasn't going to pick that Utah team because I know people in the NFL, I know agents, I know female football players, I know a lot of people. So I get my news. And they got mad at me for saying don't send players up to Utah in the middle of our season to do nothing, to a farm area. And look at it. There was no XFL team. So I know them. They come ask me, hey, Ray, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I'm just available to anybody. I don't think I'm better than any coach out there. I just love football. I love coaching.
So before the Venom went into the Cactus League, it was announced that they were in the Cactus League. The season hasn't started yet. I saw a post that you said that, they're going to be, one of the top teams, made number 2 in the league. How'd you know that?
Well, we had a 7-on-7, and you could see how the whole team was unified. Players was talking each other up. Somebody made a mistake. Instead of yelling at him, they went over there, smacked him on the butt, and told him, hey, do it this way. The communication was great, and the coach was great with them. You know what I mean? So I knew just how they play. Every time we score, they'll come back and score. Every time we throw a play and get a pick, they'll get a pick. They never gave up from start to finish. So you can see the energy in that team there. The chemistry was great.
Okay, and why do you think that some of these teams that, I would say like a coach like, Dominic Willis gets all his players, and all that, like how come you think that he didn't win the championship this year? Because I saw you make a post about that as well, that he didn't make the championship as well.
Well, this is how I look at it. I've known Dominic since he came into the league. Great football player, this and that. But when you got too many athletes and you try to instill your offense or your defense or anything to those players, you got 2 or 3 going to do what they want to do. And you can see it in a prior game where they didn't have enough offense scored. Great team. I had every player in the state on that team, but defense can't score all the points. They had no chemistry on the offense. So that's why I knew in my heart that they were going to lose to the Venom because it was a defensive battle, but the Venom got offense. Out of the blue, he'll come out of his pocket and run a play that defense is not, like I just explained before, they're not paying attention. Hook the curl. You got to say, what if a cutback comes? And they didn't do that. That's why in my head, that's why I thought they were going to lose that game, and they did.
So you think you can pull together a team within 2 years and make it become a championship team?
Really, yes. If I'm allowed to coach and nobody mess with me, don't want to change what I'm running, and I adapt to anybody. You give me plays, I'm going to run that play. But don't get mad at me if I tweak it a little bit because I see something different. Just observe it, see what is, how the play works, If you don't like it, okay, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? If you got any adjustment to it, I'm good with that because I'm just a coach. I'm not on the field no more. So if you do it together, you'll have a successful team. And that's all it is.
Okay, and where would you rather coach at now? Like, would you coach DFL, Cactus, Alliance League? Where would you rather coach right now?
Right now, I'm leaning towards Alliance because I got a few teams that want me to help coach. You know, Cactus, I just didn't like the last season we was in there with the half a field. You know, we didn't get our money's worth. Nothing gets them, but we didn't get our money's worth, you know. The Canes, congratulations to them. They played ball. This past season wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? But the season before when I was over there, it was just wasn't what I expected and all the hype. So the Alliance, I like what they're doing because it reminds me of the old school with the Copper, GFL, AZFL back in the day. So I'd rather be in that league.
So do you think that in the future you will have your own team?
Yes. All I need is this one season left alone and just let me coach and people know what I can do. That's the thing. I don't care if anybody stand up for me. People know I didn't coach the best of the best in this league or been around them or coach against them. They know what I can do. But it's just somebody giving me that opportunity. Just let me be. Let me just do my thing. If I do something wrong, correct me. I'm good with it. But just let me coach.
What were your past teams that you coached in these past 5 years?
Reapers, the Bulldogs, the Hawks. I was with the Vipers for like 2 weeks. I think I'm the only coach that played against the Phantoms 3 different times, 3 weeks in a row. I was on 3 different teams there. The Hornets, I started with them back in the day. After I had a team called it was a Cross in AZFL 2012. Then I made my own team. I had a team called the Bengals, which I coached 55 players. 17 players came from Bullhead City. It was all my linemen. Didn't win one game, but we played football. You know what I mean? I held with the Ravens. I held with a lot of teams. You know, some team folded, so there's nothing I can do. And hopefully I get on the team this year and just get to coach and go through the whole season. I think I'll be all right.
Where do you feel like your expertise is in, offense or defense?
To be honest with you, I can do both. Because I'm a good offensive player because I know how to dismantle a defense. When I'm on defense, I know how to dismantle an offense. And here's the reason why. Defense, everybody run the same thing. Me, I tweak it. You know what I mean? Offense, everybody run the same thing. Only 1 or 2 players get the ball if it's a pass. Every team runs to the right. They don't teach the players, not like when we had our team at Flag League, I ran everything to the left. The reason why I do that is because it opens your mind. If you right-handed, all your players gonna go to the right. All your players gonna go to the right. And everybody gonna set their defense up to go towards that side. Me, I like to go to right and left. But I will start with the left because no one's...
So you were the offensive coordinator with the Gladiators. There was a lot of hype around, your game and, you being there with the Gladiators. What happened to that?
To be honest with you, I hate to say it, but with Coach Dirt, she used to tell me how everybody mistreated her and didn't respect her and this and that. I respect her. But if you run a defense with a 3 front, I'm going to eat you up in the 3 front. I'm going to run right at you and gain 1-2 yards at a time. She got tired of me gaining yards on her. She'll have 12 players to my 7. I'll still gain yards on her. You know what I mean? I'm playing chess. She's playing checkers, but anybody who run a 3 front, everybody knows you can run on it. She got mad one day and told me it was her team after calling 6 times out. And she told me my team. I said, all right, keep your team then because you're yelling at me in front of players because I'm disrupting your defense. But in my eyes, if you can stop what I'm running, you can stop anything because everybody else runs the same offense. I just run a little different and try to get you to open your mind and think outside the box on defense. Linebackers don't sit there. Linebackers go down the alley, stuff like that. I'll run plays so the players can understand the concept of a wheel route, quick slant. Because everybody know a quick slant is the best pass play to run out of any defense because of the gap between the corner and the linebacker. It's right there. So I'm good at whatever you put me on. You put me on special teams, I'm going to find a way to run that special team. For example, with the Hornets, I think I was the only special team coach to gain more yards than offense that year. My punter could throw passes. So we on a Tucson Thunder, I faked a 66 field goal, got a 66-yard touchdown pass out of it. You see what I mean? I adapt to whatever I'm doing. And again, not better than anybody out there. I love what I'm doing. Not saying nobody else does, but I love what I'm doing. So I put my passion, my heart into it.
So yesterday it piqued the interest of something I saw that you said like a long time ago on your timeline, how some of these coaches that coach now are that were players, they weren't that good. What is your like actual feedback on that?
Well, now you got to look at it this way. Are they coaching because they love the game? Yes, a lot of them are. But some coaches, they want to do it this way. Like they run plays that run plays. They're going to say, I write 26. Run it. But they don't know why they run it. And if you don't run it right, they mad at you. And then the player's mad at them. And that's where the confusion comes. Prime example, you cannot do well during regular season and then playoff come, you lose your first game and get blown out. How that happened? What got you there is because you studied, the players believed in. Why change it up? And I've seen top teams do that every year and not go nowhere. But they were the best team in regular season. And people will say, oh, the regular season don't count. Yes, it does. You go to practice 2 times a week, either in the summer or whatever. You're busting your butt, you show up to play, so every game matters. You know what I mean? Even a 7, people don't think 7 matters. To me, they matter. I love 7s because I'm critiquing my offense or I'm critiquing my defense or whatever I'm on. And I take it serious. Some people don't.
So how are you at practice? Are you like, make everybody condition to win, or are you just like, practice makes perfect on your plays?
I'm a condition coach first. Because if you're not in shape, you ain't gonna run nothing right. And I'm like that with the linemen. That's why I push 9-on-9 to get the linemen involved, because linemen don't show up until the season start and they're out of shape. But if you keep them involved, your offense or your defense is on point because everybody meshing together. And so I'm a condition coach. I'll condition. I got 3 drills that I run that'll knock, energize. There's players out there now, they ran some of my drills and they know they done puked and everything because it's better for you to show up at a game in condition. And a prime example, the Canes. Every player on that team may not have been in condition, but you couldn't tell. They played football all around that field. You know what I mean? You guys last year played football all around it, had fun doing it. Some of them players was calling out, I'm going to go down your throat because y'all was in condition. Now, I know people don't show up for practice, but if you got them there on Monday, you run the same thing on Monday, on Wednesday or Thursday when the next practice, so at least they know when game time comes. You can't change up and not instill everything on everybody's plate.
So the red zone, you were the main voice in the red zone. Like, you can't say red zone without Ray King. You have the most posts. Why do you think that, they didn't allow you in the grid zone?
Because of that. If you look at what I did, how many people proved me wrong on anything I said? I haven't seen it yet. Did I ever call anybody out? No. I always laid it out there where you had to figure it out, or you had to call your league on this and that. I used to do debates in high school. I was in the newspaper in high school, in college and everything. But to me, it was fun. But it also was informal because you guys need to know what was going on. And this is supposed to be the players' league. The owners, yeah, you own the team. But without the players, you don't have no team. So it's just like ESPN. And I enjoy it. I don't think they let me in because of that. Because it wasn't about me, but everything was with me, if that makes sense. So they didn't let me in there because everybody got tired of Ray King. But did they really get tired, or did a couple people didn't want me in so they can shine? You see what I'm saying?
So what are your goals for this year? Or my bad, I'm sorry, for next season.
Next season, I want to be the top OC in this state. Like my plays, to me, can average at least 35 points a half if it's ran right consistently. Like prime example, when I practice my plays, I use both quarterbacks. And if I got a third one, he's in there too. Why? One of them get hurt, you start to get hurt, your backup don't know nothing because you didn't put him in there to practice the plays. And you see that all the time. with almost every team. So I want to be the best OC, or if I'm defense, the best defense. If I'm special team, the best defense. And I want to have a good year and just coach. Because at practice, I don't argue with nobody. I just run my plays, the condition, and I go by according to what I see. If you're there, ask anybody out there, they know. I'll whisper in their ear, try this, try that, try this. Not do that, do this. Try it. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But you gotta be open to criticism. You gotta be open and willing to listen to others. That's why I don't care what anybody say about me, because you see me every year. And I've been doing this since 96.
So why do you think people do write you off? You know, they say that, you know, that, oh, raise this, raise that. But then you show up every year.
Mm-hmm. But do you notice it's only 2 or 3? They say something, they get more laughs than they do likes. That tells you something. Because people laughing at how they saying that, but they know the difference. If I was such a garbage coach, or if I couldn't coach, why would anybody care what I say or do?
That's right. And yeah, and to think that, you know, that people would say something like that, you know, and not have actual proof of it, which, you know, no one has, like you said, has proven anything about you to be, you know, factual, where you have all the proof, you know, yourself. Mm-hmm. But, you know, speaking of, let's capitalize on this. So you said you want to move forward, you know, you want to be the best OC in the, you know, you said the state, right? Mm-hmm. So if the team were to get an opportunity right now, let's say, you know, a random team, the Tigers, you think you can be able to run them to a, you know, at least a 5 to 10 game win?
Yes, I've done that many times. Like I said, I start off in the 7s or 9s because that's where you grow. You know what I mean? People take, oh, it's just 9s, it's nothing. To me, it's not. It's molding your team together to be prepared. So here's my philosophy. If I'm on offense, when you step on that line, you look at the defense, you already know you got it. And the only way to instill that is practice it, believe it, and believe in your players as well as they believe in you.
So when you first saw this podcast pop up on your timeline, you know, what was your first thoughts about it?
Well, first, you like a son to me anyway, so I loved it because no one's doing it. You know what I mean? The Viper coach did it, but he did it with pros and all that. We need stuff for Arizona players. You know what I mean? Somebody out there to be the voice that, so these guys can feel like they're not in the pros, but just make them feel like they're in the pros. They get an interview, you know, they getting highlight reels on and stuff like that. That's what we need. That's how it was back in the day, and somehow it got lost in the sauce. You bringing it back. You know what I mean? A player got accolades, but they got to go on Huddle and then put it on YouTube. Now they can come here and talk about it and people can see it. And then they well known. Like, for example, I'll just walk to a game and sit there. I bet 20 people show up, 18 know who I am and never seen me in person because I established that it's about football. So with you doing this, you're letting the players, teams get recognized where we don't get that. You know what I mean? What, they might have an award show at the end of the year, but you giving them an award now to talk about what they did in the game. Man, I scored 5 touchdowns, dropped 3. A lot of people only can tell their families. Now you're broadening it where everybody sees it.
So in any league, I would say Alliance, DFL, Cactus, who would be your top 5 players?
Lucky is in my top 5 because Lucky just all around football player. You know what I mean? Day is the best defensive player because they look at him and oh, he's little, but that boy got more heart than a lion. You know what I mean? That's 2. I got too many to name. Like the Running Rebels, they got about like 10 players I like on there. Every team got somebody on their team that I like. So it's hard for me to just pick 5 or 10. I like a lot of players.
Well, just like, I'm just saying, like off the top of your head. Like, well, you named 2 already, you know, like you said, Lucky, you said Day, you know, just 3 more.
I know Lorenz ain't around, but Lorenz is one of my top 10 all-time players. I got a lot of players. It's hard for me because I know everybody, man. I know everybody. The R-Star team that just had, if I didn't know who was on there, I would have gave some more players, but I like how that was set up because you have players from every team on there. Everybody represent. And I don't think nobody got left out. You know what I mean? With me, I know a little bit of everybody on every team in the state. So I might like something somebody else might not like. So it's hard for me to pick. I just know those two all back because I've been watching them play, watch them grow. Had the honor of coaching them too, you know what I mean? And Khalil, one of the top quarterbacks, if you run the right offense for him, you know what I mean? He can excel. Like with him, you have to run plays and pass plays with him. You can't run 10 pass plays with him. He'll excel, but the boy is a burner. He will burn you in a second. So it's like, I just have too many to name. I like everybody. You know what I mean?
So speaking of the All-Star team, you said that that's the first one ran in so long. How did it make you feel seeing that all over?
Oh, I was happy. I put it on 3 TVs. That's how happy I was. I watched it 5 times because didn't even care if they gained 2 yards. It was just seeing the uniforms, the unity, everybody all happy and hyped in the middle of a heat wave. You know what I mean? It was just fun to see because it's been a long time. I know D. Wills and that other cat ran one, but that was all handpicked. It wasn't, you know what I mean? This was a whole league with enough players from all the teams, and they enjoyed it. It turned out well. And that's what I like because it had passion in it. That's the word I'm looking for. It was done with heart. It wasn't just thrown together, if that makes sense. No favoritism. Just pick the right people. Got awards for it. Everybody was happy. That's how it's done. So that's why I was happy to see that.
So before we wrap this up, if there's a coach that you would would want to coach against, who would it be?
I want to coach against Jeff Fisher because I beat him up last time I coached against when he was a player. I burned him for 300, 400 yards, and that's who I want to go against. I don't care. To me, it is top teams and everybody else but a team is a team to me. In my head, I'm gonna do something to score points or get sacks, or wherever I'm at, I'm gonna put points on because I just see everything look the same. If you look at every team, not too many teams run anything different. That's why Roll Tide, they ran an old school offense you haven't seen since Papa and me are the only ones that ran that. And people know who Papa is. He was the coach of the Warriors. We the only one to run stuff like that. And they ran well. They ran that offense well. It was something different. You know what I mean? Everybody run the zone read left, zone read right, zone read up the middle. One receiver will get the pass. That's boring football. Football should be exciting. So I'm hopefully this year, people mix it up, change it up, run something a little bit different. But it's going to happen for some teams, and some teams are going to run the same old thing. People need to be different. And that's how I look at myself. I'm different. Not better than anybody, just different.
Well, I'd like to thank you for being on Gridiron Chronicles, man. Well, I really appreciate you for coming here, man. It means a lot for you to come here and speak on, behalf of yourself and everything like that, okay?
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yep.